Well, welcome back to the new one, or in part to the new one. It's still under construction in case you hadn't noticed. Bits and pieces missing, not so organized. We'll get there. However, this couldn't wait. What an experience. Wow. Okay, so Satori, the moment of enlightenment when all things collapse in on themselves and truth is utterly present to be fully experienced in the present now moment. Satori is a concept coming from the Zen school of Buddhism, or the Zen branch of Buddhism, and it contains an approach to achieving enlightenment that Buddha was explaining at one point or another. Now, I'm not a Buddhist. I'm not even a Zen practitioner. I do love Zen and I love Buddhism. I love looking into all of these types of concepts, philosophies, understandings, worldviews, cosmologies, and especially the ones that make sense. So, this was an experience I was having today where I had a Satori moment. Yes, I had a Satori moment here in Australia without attending a Buddhist college, university, retreat, or anything else like this. In fact, as the story goes on, you'll see I wasn't doing anything special at all. But that's the key. Bhakti is otherwise known as devotion, if I understand the translation correctly, through service. And as such, we can find that devotion through service to the creation that we're a part of gives us moments of connection with that creation that lifts us up. I was getting out of bed this morning with a mind that was very circular and chaotic in its approach. I was running through a whole bunch of traumatic experiences from the days, months, weeks leading before. I just have moved house and have setting everything up, along with all of the other chaos that goes along with that. And here I am, getting up this morning, getting my stuff in order, going, okay, I'm going to go do something, and I'm going to listen to this before I do anything else today. I'm going to listen to this video. I've been really enjoying this channel that I found called Buddha's Wisdom. So I found this video called You're Already Enlightened, Buddha Nature Finally Explained, on the channel Buddha's Wisdom. And in it, it starts by reframing the entire enlightenment perspective with the teaching from Buddha, stating that we're all enlightened from the moment of birth. And it's not something that comes and goes. It's not something that is more or less. It's our ability to see what's present or not that is what confuses us. And so you get people who say, well, if we're already enlightened, then why do I struggle in life? Why do I keep getting these negative experiences and everything else like this? And the idea is quite simply that all of these things are things that distract you or block your perspective from the fact that you already are enlightened. And so when you create an environment where there's so much chaos that the mind just kind of goes and folds in on itself in a certain way, that's what they call Satori. And the effect of that is clear seeing in that moment. Now, an effective Satori does not mean that I'm enlightened. No, it means that I had an enlightening moment. And the more of these that we can accrue, the more robust our understanding and cognizance of such an idea is. I'll get to that in a minute. First, I want to define a word. Cognize, recognize. Specifically more recognize, meaning to do again. So there's two particular definitions that come up when I did a simple search engine search on define, recognize. And it came up with to know to be something that has been perceived before, or to perceive or show acceptance of the validity or reality of. So if you're already enlightened, then each time you realize that you're enlightened, you are recognizing it, admitting it's a part of your reality, inputting it into your reality. However, we need to be very careful with some of these words that we use in English because they're loaded with other subconscious ties, and those subconscious ties add to the confusion that we impact ourselves with. So, at the beginning of the video, there's a simple reframe that is, once you understand this message of Buddha, it then becomes a really easy circumstance of switching perspective from how do I become enlightened to how do I recognize what I already am. And that's powerful, really powerful. For instance, later on in the video, it goes on to say that there's two general arguments out there in these worlds about how to see this, and I'm sure there's more than two, but the two big ones brought into discussion are two perspectives, and they use the common Buddhist analogy of a mirror being dirty. So the first one goes, the mirror is dirty, I must polish it until it becomes clean. So this comes with the subconscious understanding embedded in the language that until it becomes clean, you don't have it, or it's not present. And so when you do that, and then you go about your daily life, it feels like you're constantly falling into the pit of, oh no, I forgot that I'm enlightened again. Oh, I made a stupid mistake again. Oh, I'm angry in traffic again. Oh, this is really annoying me again. I mustn't be enlightened. I guess I never was. No, you always were. And this is the second one. The mirror is perfectly reflective. I need to remove the dust obscuring its natural clarity. And at this point I'm going, okay, no worries. Now, to add more to the story, what I was doing this morning was I was setting up my headphones, getting up the video, press play, and with the new house I'm in, it is slightly remote and it lives on a bush road. So I got out the front, as I do on occasion, with the rubbish bag, and I just started picking up rubbish while I'm listening to Buddha's wisdom. And I get to this point in the video where I go, the mirror is perfectly reflective. I need to remove the dust obscuring its natural clarity. And at this point, I'm a little bit agitated because of these things that were running through my mind up until earlier this morning. And I stopped, holding the rubbish bag in one hand, a handful of rubbish that I just picked up in the other hand, and I remembered the reframe at the start of the video. And I said to myself, standing there like this, holding these like this, and I said to myself, how do I recognize then what I already am? And I looked up into the trees, looked around as if waiting for a sign, and then looked down, then looked at my hands, and I went, oh, I'm picking up rubbish. And I didn't even realize. Like, obviously I realized I am, but I did it out of being as opposed to, oh, I'm going to go pick up rubbish because that's a good thing to do. I saw the need for picking up rubbish. I decided to focus on my issues that I was dealing with, my inner worlds, and then in realizing that I was focused on my inner worlds, I stopped and perceived outwards. And in that one moment is when it happened, that everything dropped. Not literally, I was still holding the rubbish, that everything in here dropped. And I wept because I realized that I was picking up rubbish for no reason at all. Aside from because I want to express my gratitude for the land that I'm moving into to accommodate me and my family. And it hit me. Just in a simple thought. How many people do that? Probably those who have a good connection or idea with reality and what's going on here. I'm not saying that that means that I'm enlightened. I'm saying I had a moment where my mind was keeping me, the dust was keeping me from seeing the clarity of the circumstance. And once I cleared that dust away, I was able to see what was already happening, what was already present, and what was already right there in front of my face. The whole time that I'm listening to this video, running circles in my head, doing burnouts in the back of my brain, and I didn't even realize that I was walking around acting like an enlightened person would, caring for the world that they're a part of, as if it is themselves. And like I said, I wept in gratitude because I could see the grace of the moment, the insanity of myself going, oh, blah, 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 until I realized that it was all just me going, blah, 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 blah. And when I stopped, things were good. So it doesn't take much for these types of things to happen. In fact, in certain schools of Buddhism, they say the less emphasized it is, the more accurate it is. The less extravagant it is, the more likely it is accurate. They say things like, becoming enlightened is not gaining something or learning something special. It's in fact becoming more normal. Far more normal. And I don't mean normal to normal as in well adjusted to a profoundly sick society, to quote a wise old man. So with that, I ask you in your day and your going abouts, wherever you find yourself today, may you take a moment, maybe after you finish this video, if not right now, some point later in the day, and you stop what you're doing and you say, what was the question exactly? How do I recognize what I already am? And let your mind answer the question for you. Don't offer or try to work it out. Just be present for what's already apparent when you drop it all away. Don't forget to comment about this stuff too. This adds to the morphogenic field of us all. It makes it easier for everybody else. And when people see that comments from people are encountering similar circumstances to them and they're still progressing on further than that, it gives other people, I'll say, not courage, but permission in themselves to keep going. By the way, any accidental symbology is completely an accidental phenomenon. I'm very animated and I love doing things with my hands. Sometimes mudras, sometimes positions, fancy la-di-das. None of it has anything to do with anything aside from me just swinging my hands about because I'm fidgety generally. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you find time today to realize just how freaking amazing you truly are. Thanks for joining me in my new place, and we hope to see you again.